everybody, it's Dean. Welcome to Bring Back Rock. Today we're talking about Helix. A band, as of 2024, had 50 years of rocking. So 50 years experience, 50th anniversary in 2024. Tell you really quick, got a lot of history to cover. So really quick how I came to hear about them. Well, I had heard about them. I had seen the videos. I knew who they were, but I never bought an album. And then after high school, I started hanging out with a friend. So it was kind of after their initial run at Capitol Records. He gave me a copy of Over 60 Minutes with Helix, which was Capitol's first compilation album with Helix. And so I checked them out, and I kicked myself that could have been listening to them for the last 10 years and hadn't. Now, Joseph had passed away. The story I heard was he went into diabetic coma in his apartment and when he was alone, and he never recovered. So I need to thank him posthumously for turning me on to some great music, not just Helix, but a lot of great music. So thanks, Joseph. Rest in peace, brother. All right. Helix had toured with everybody. With 50 years in the business, they probably toured. The list of people they hadn't toured with is probably shorter than the list of people they have toured with. They toured with Wasp, Aerosmith, Motley Crue, Kiss, Whitesnake, Quiet Riot. They were on a triple bill with Accept and Keel. I mean, they have played with just about everybody over the last 50 years. So, like I said, 50 years is a lot to talk about. So I'm going to can't cover everything, but I'm going to give you the basics, and I'm going to share a couple of fun stories that I found about the band, and play some music samples and catch up with you at the end of the video. So here we go. This is Helix. All right, let's talk about Helix, who are another Canadian band. I featured quite a few Canadian bands, and I have a few more on my list to do. Don't know why that is. A lot of them were really popular in Canada, but didn't quite break through, just had moderate success in the U.S. Anyway, Helix is a Canadian band formed in 1974 and independently released 2 albums, Breaking Loose in 1979 and White Lace and Black Leather in 1981. I should also mention this about Helix. They had a lot of turnover, a lot of different players. Some left and came back. Some left, came back to fill in, and then left again, and some passed on. I don't plan on listing every player, but I will say this. Singer Brian Vollmer was the one constant through it all. And I'll get to the classic lineup. But first, I will also talk about one person who auditioned for the band but didn't get in, because this is kind of cool. All right. Fellow Canadian actor Michael J. Fox actually tried out for the band. Yes, the one and only Alex P. Keaton, Marty McFly, yes, the Teen Wolf tried out for our heroes band. That really could have changed what 80s pop culture looked like if he got the gig. He also played guitar in some movies, if you remember, like Back to the Future, of course, and Light of Day with Joan Jett. It's good to know that he has some rocker credentials in real life. So around this time, Helix signed with Capitol Records, and they toyed with their image, leaving behind the bar band look of jeans and t-shirts, going for leather and an 80s style look. And with the band changes prior to signing, Brian Vollmer was the last remaining original member. They released No Rest for the Wicked on Capitol Records in 1983. The lineup was this: Brian Vollmer on vocals, Paul Hackman on guitar, Brent Dorner on guitar, Mike Uzelak on bass, and Greg Fritz Hinz on drums. Before the next record, they changed bass players, and Daryl Gray replaced Mike Uzelak, completing the classic lineup. Now, Walking the Razor's Edge was the album, and it came out in 1984, producing the band's signature song, Rock You. It also had a video for that song and for Gimme Gimme Good Lovin'. The band was on the road with Ratt when the record company flew them out to make the video. Now, they were greeted by beautiful models from the fashionable men's magazines of the time, Playboy, Hustler, We, and one famous porn star, the lovely and controversial Traci Lords. Now, on the same set, Richard Pryor, Rip Taylor, and Robin Williams were filming Pryor's Place on the same lot and came to see what the show was all about. Robin Williams was in full Robin mode, and all 3 took photos with the band, spent time with the band and the girls, and Rip Taylor even appeared in the video. Also, there are 2 versions of the video. A censored one with the girls in bikinis, and an uncensored one with them topless. Now, I'm sure none of you would want to see something like that, so strictly for research purposes, I did track it down and can verify it does exist. The video was also featured in episode 26 of Electric Blue. If you're not familiar with Electric Blue, it's an adult-oriented TV show. The band released their next album, Long Way to Heaven, in 1985. They toured Sweden and were rewarded with a #1 album in the country. They contributed a song to the Iron Eagle soundtrack, a soundtrack that also featured Dio, Katrina and the Waves, Queen, and a single and video by King Cobra, Iron Eagle Never Say Die. In 1987, their fourth album for Capitol Records, Wild in the Streets, was released. They tapped Mike Stone to produce the album. He's most famous for working with Queen and Journey at this time. Well, he flew in, and the record company forgot to pick him up at the airport. Left him stranded, and let's say he was less than happy. To make up for it, the label took him and the band to the $1 Million Saloon, a well-known strip club, and spent a small fortune on one night. The party moved from the club to the Capitol Records building, with the band, producer, and dancers, of course. This is late at night with no one around. They found the bar in the Capitol Records building, they found the boardroom, and the girls put on a show. Daryl got so intoxicated he passed out in a swivel chair. His mates, of course, taped him up, left him in the lobby to greet the morning staff. Guitarist Brent Dorner quit in 1989. They released another album in 1990, Back for Another Taste. When touring Europe, Brian decided to quit the band. However, Capitol Records decided to get behind the single Good to the Last Drop and shoot a video for it. So Brian was talked into sticking it out for a little bit longer. Good thing he did, because he never left the band and they're still going strong. In 1992, guitarist Paul Hackman died in a tour bus accident. With the death of Paul, and with Capitol Records' contract fulfilled, Brian decided to do a solo album. Now, this solo was eventually released under the Helix banner, even though no one else in the band played on it. The album was It's a Business Doing Pleasure, and was released in 1993 on Aquarius Records, a Canadian label which actually had quite a few artists on it, and quite a few which I had heard of. Following the release of It's a Business Doing Pleasure in 93, the band started going through a lot of member changes, but in 1998, they released the album Half Alive on D-Rock Records. Just to keep Helix material out there, it featured half live songs and half studio songs. In 2004, the band celebrated their 30th anniversary. They did a documentary DVD, they did a concert DVD with many Helix alumni joining in for the fun. The band continues to play occasionally and is still making music. They released Rockin' in My Outer Space in 2004, The Power of Rock and Roll in 2007, Heavy Metal Christmas in 2008, Vagabond Bones in 2009, Bastard of the Blues in 2014, and Old School in 2019. I played that Christmas album quite a bit this Christmas. They have also been releasing singles as recently as 2024. And they have a bunch of compilation and live records you can check out as well. So they're still active. Brian's home is dubbed Planet Helix, which was featured on an episode of MTV Cribs. I also need to mention here a couple things about longtime drummer Greg Fritz Hinz. Now, he was their drummer from 82 to 96, 13 years. And then he took a 13-year break from the band before coming back and has been with them ever since, except in 2018, when he fell off a ladder, fractured his skull, and was put into a medical-induced coma, complete with breathing tubes, and yet he still only missed 8 months before he was back playing with the band. Now, unfortunately, about a year ago, February of 2024, after a 10-month battle with cancer, he died at the age of 68. So I just wanted to mention that about Greg Hinz. All right, so there was lots to cover about a band that just celebrated 50 years. Amazing, 50 years. They're still sounding great, too. If you check out their new stuff, sounds great. I'm going to focus on the more Capitol Records era music, and I'll play maybe 1 or 2 new songs for the music samples before I catch up with you at the end of the video. And like I said, 50 years of rock is very impressive. This is just kind of an overview with a couple fun stories thrown in. I mean, there's a lot of history in 50 years. So here's the music samples. I'll catch up with you at the end.
Get thread. We mainline stolen music through a cell phone to the head. I see it in the streets, I feel it everywhere. How do people gather with their fists up in the air? We want it heavy, rough and ready. So don't believe it when Gene Simmons says rock is dead. You can't replace it. Techno erasing. So don't believe it when Gene Simmons says rock is dead. When Gene Simmons says rock is dead.
It's got that special sound. Every bug in every city is a rock and roll town. Turn on the radio. Turn on to me. Turn on the radio. We'll be calling on your local DJ. Have you heard the news today? Kids are all shaking in the USA. Have you heard the news today? Well, the kids are all shaking in the USA. Shaking. Girl, you bring home the moon, she's mine. She's dirty and mean, but she's not so fun, she's mine. I like to caress her steel. That's a hurt inside I feel. Every little love, she's mine. Every little love, ooh yeah. Every little love, she's mine. Every little.
The dirt that you've been dealing is a getting around. The word spreads fast in this two saloon town. But when your gums are flapping at the end of the bar, remember that your bullshit doesn't have to travel too far. You say I'm a loser, but I'm running on a dream. I'm a freight train coming at ya, full steam. Is the best revenge. Is the best revenge.
Feel like going crazy. If you feel like losing your mind, I'll give you fair warning. No one gets out alive. 'Cause this place is an animal house. Once you're in, you never get out. This place is an animal house. Once you're in, you never get out.
All right, so that's a little bit about Helix, a band that's been around for 50 years. I'm betting some of you weren't even born when they started. Some of you probably been there from the start, or at least from the start of the Capitol Records releases. Where can you find them? You can find a lot of it on the streaming services. The Capitol Records releases are out there, and some of the other stuff is out there, the newer singles, but not everything. So if there's something you want to find, it's not going to break the bank to find it. Most of the stuff is either at planethelix.com, which is Brian Vollmer's website, or you can find them on a lot of stuff still in print, so on Amazon or wherever you get your records. If you want to find some older stuff, most of the stuff you can find for between 15 and 20 bucks. Vinyl or CD tends to be about that. I'm sure something's expensive that I didn't see, but most of the stuff between 15 and 20 bucks. So it's not going to break the bank to check out some Helix. All right. I appreciate everybody watching. Thank you very much. And I will catch you on the next episode.